Hi friends, welcome back to the Project Return online classroom. I'm Miss Celia and today we're going to be making this cool bracelet cuff that you saw in the thumbnail. The materials you're going to need are some bigger, large, multicolor beads. You're also going to need some stretchy cord. This is 1 millimeter in thickness, but you can really use anything as long as it's on the thicker side. And you're also going to need a pair of scissors for this to cut your string. And for your string, you're gonna wanna make sure that it's a stretchy string, one that gives a little pull when you pull on it. Our first thing we're going to be doing is cutting an extra long piece of string. You're just gonna wanna take it in one hand, extend it out as far as your arms can reach, and then chop it off. And then we are going to fold it directly in half, so you can see we got the end on one side and the two ends on the other. And our first step to thread our first line of beads is we are going to be taking 2 beads and put them on each end of the string. Once you thread a bead on each end of the string, you're going to take your next color and put it through both ends of the string. You're gonna pull this nice and tight, but you're gonna wanna make sure that one side of your string is much longer than the other one. One of them should stay short and the other side of the string should be nice and long because that's the part of the string that we are going to be working with when we make the rest of our cuff. Now I want my cuff to look like a rainbow, so I'm just going with my green color next. But if you did just want a solid color, you could do that as well. Our next step is going to be going back to what we did the first time. We're putting 1 bead on each end of the string, and then we are threading both ends through 1 bead again. So it kind of creates some spaces between the beads. Make sure these are pulled nice and tight. We don't want any loose string because that'll make our cuff look a little too loose. Just make sure that you're doing this pattern that we were just doing before. So 1 bead on each string and then both strings in 1 bead. You can see it's a 2 and then a 1 and then 2 and then a 1. And then I'm just doing it again with my orange beads, threading 1 orange bead on each string. And then I'll do it again with the pink bead. I will put 1 pink bead right with both strings inside of it. So this is what it should look like when you finish your first row. My orange beads should be stacked, just like looking how my green beads are. But once I pull my strings tighter, it'll get a lot easier. So the next thing we're gonna do is thread our next pink bead. We're starting our next row. You're gonna wanna use the long side of your string. You thread a pink bead and then thread that string through the orange one. You can see once I pull it nice and tight that those beads stack the same way that the orange ones did. And you're just gonna wanna do that repeatedly and filling in your spaces. This is pretty much all of the work of making the cuff. So I'm just putting a yellow bead on to fill the space and then threading it through the green one. And then I will put a blue bead on and thread it through the purple one to fill in that space between the green and the purple. Now we're starting our next line, so we start on the other side, which is purple. So I'm just taking a purple bead, putting our string through it, and threading the string through the blue bead. And then we see between the blue and the yellow, there's a gap where a green should be. So I'm taking a green bead and I am putting the string through that, and then I will be threading it through the yellow bead. So here again, we're just filling in spaces in our rows. We want to make sure that we stick with our color order, so make sure that your lines of beads are lining up if you are doing a pattern. If you're doing a solid color, it doesn't really matter so much, but I wanted mine to look like a rainbow. And then I'm just again filling in the next space for an orange bead. So I will take the orange bead, put it on my string, and then thread it through the pink bead on the end. And then when I go ahead and start my next row, I'll take a pink bead and then thread it back through the orange one. And I'm just kind of making a zigzag pattern as I work and add beads to my bracelet. Like I said, this is really the bulk of the bracelet, so you're just gonna wanna go ahead and continue, make as many rows as you need to fit your wrist. You can measure it as you go. Just make sure you're keeping a nice long string, and you're just gonna wanna go as long as you need to. So I skipped ahead a little bit, but this is what your bracelet is going to look like once you have all of your rows complete. You can kind of see between the beads that the string is going on a diagonal, and that is a-okay. If you can't get it perfectly straight like I can't, it'll still look really good. You're gonna wanna measure it and make sure that it fits your wrist. And then if it doesn't fit your wrist, you're just gonna wanna add some more rows. And then if it does, you are good to go. We're going to take the remainder of our long string and thread it between the two ends. So I'm taking the outstanding purple bead on the other end and threading it through there, and then I'm going back to the other side and threading it through the blue, switching back to the other end and then threading it through the green, so on and so forth. So my string creates a zigzag pattern, and when you pull it nice and tight, it will connect those two ends and make it one solid bracelet. And then after that, you can just tie it off. You'll see me do that. And after all of that hard work and dedication, we are finally done with our bracelet. This is why we wanted to use the stretchy string. We want to make sure it gets over our hands and we can give our beads a little bit of give without having them pop and end up all over the floor. It looks really nice. I think this is a really cute way to add some color to anything that you're wearing. Let's say you got a nice purple shirt. This will match that really nicely and really will match with any color shirt that you're wearing. I hope you guys enjoyed my little tutorial video and get some use out of this guy. You can buy these beads at Walmart or the dollar store. I hope you have a fantastic day and I will see you next time. Goodbye, guys.